Let's talk changing fucking healthcare 3.0. Practices are suffering. Singing foot doc. Yeah. So okay, health 3.0, which we've talked about innumerable times, but it bears a quick reboot here, is this idea that our healthcare system is mired in a way of thinking that is very left brain. It's very reductionist. It doesn't see the full patient. It doesn't see the full caregiver. It just sees parts and then tries to recreate a whole. So whether it's electronic health records with a million click boxes, thinking that they're measuring quality measures and they don't actually measure what matters to the patient. The billing practices that we have that break down everything into these little boxes, that we're just so busy treating the system and the billing and the note and trying to cover our ass and all of that, that we don't see that radiant, indescribable life form in front of us, the patient. And we certainly don't see ourselves very clearly because we're so mired in the shame of being inadequate to meet this system's demands, making enough money to support our family, pay our loans, feeling valued and undervalued, and just the sheer amount of volume of workload that doesn't get the resources with tools, teams, and trust to actually do our jobs. Corporate medicine taking over and private equity groups and others thinking they can manage medicine better than doctors, which honestly, from a financial standpoint, they probably can. From a healthcare as a thing that actually helps people, including the people taking care of other people, no way. Never. When profit's the prime motive, you're going to tune to that prime motive. You're going to tune all the operations. And it turns out profit and actual health outcomes are not necessarily aligned. Profit and outcomes for caregivers in terms of their own mental health, their feeling of having a purpose and connection, their feelings of having enough tools, enough team, human resources, and enough trust, autonomy, to do their job is not there. So what Health 3.0 says is, hey, let's bring back the tools, teams, and trust. So it's team-based, technology-enabled, but not technology-enslaved. That's where AI becomes useful. It's not there to replace us. It's there to give us a powerful teammate, a powerful tool that can help us then focus on what we do best, which is developing that indescribable, unquantifiable, direct relationship with another human being that is in itself therapeutic. That's why the placebo effect works. We don't even understand it, and yet here it is. It works. So 3.0 says, okay, team-based, focused on prevention, focused on not just the patients, but also the team that's taking care of them, and providing a new way of involving technology, payment models, so paid to keep people healthy in a way that matters to the people you're trying to keep healthy, not just some bureaucrat clicking the boxes. So that's a transformation. Now, where AI, I think, is going to really transform this is in providing that extra tool that says, okay, we can relieve some of the cognitive burden on the healthcare team and then allow them to do what they do. So it might be that the AI is actually able to write your note, is able to click the boxes, is able to suggest when you cognitively might have missed something because you're actually there sitting with the patient, making eye contact, doing what you do. If you're a surgeon, you're doing the surgery, and then you have time afterwards, instead of sitting and charting and worrying about all that, you have all that bureaucracy is taken care of, and the AI is helping with that, and you're there looking at the patient saying, this is what we found in surgery. This is what you need to do. This is, and putting their skin in the game, right? And then a payment model that actually supports that so that caregivers actually can make a living, support their families, take care of themselves, feel valued by doing good for others. They do well by doing good. That's what we want. And this is already emerging in places, but the big disruptor, the big question that we don't know the answer to yet, but that's going to happen because right now AI is the worst it'll ever be. As it continues to improve, what is it going to do to bring this about? Because before you could have said, I have no idea how this will work because we're so stuck in these old systems and it's going to take something really transformative that we couldn't have predicted to turn this caterpillar into something the caterpillar we never could have predicted, which is a butterfly. Well, maybe it's AI. Maybe it's the collapse of the previous system. Maybe it's COVID's related burnout for healthcare professionals where they're like, we're just not going to live like that. But I think the secret sauce that I want to talk more about too, because we can talk about this all the time. I mean, I'm wearing the shirt of the clinic that modeled this, right? That is now, it was part of Iora Health, which got purchased by One Medical, which is now purchased by Amazon, which means Amazon owns this model, which means you better watch out, rest of healthcare people, because if Amazon puts their actual mind to it, they're going to disrupt all of you guys with a Health 3.0 model that works. Now, am I holding my breath for that to happen? No, because it's Amazon. It's another big left brain corporate bureaucracy. So who can do this? This is my point. We can. When we wake up. When we wake up to what we really are as humans, what we truly are, we're not this separate self moving through space and time doing these things. That is one manifestation of how we appear. What we are is infinitely interconnected, completely untouchable and undestroyable, radiant presence of this. And even that, like everything I just said, forget it, because it's words trying to point out what is ineffable, which is the still presence at the heart of everything you've ever been, everything you've ever known. Now, when that powers your own understanding of yourself, all the stuff you've been repressing since birth, basically, all that conditioning that makes you behave in ways that are often maladaptive, that actually then emerge when groups of humans do this into this collective human delusion that then emerges into a collective human delusional system called healthcare, currently at 2.0, the mechanized assembly line model of left brain reductionism that's breaking us. Well, how do you fix that? Fix us. And also work to fix that. It's going to happen in tandem. They're dependently originated, as the Buddhists say. Our systems are dependently originated on our own internal states. So until we wake up to what we are, and that's awakening, realization, all the things we talk about with meditation, inquiry, stillness, presence, the catchphrases that mean nothing, we're pointing at this. Until that happens in healthcare, it's desperately needed in healthcare. That system is going to be calcified because they are dependently originated. Our system and us. It's not like the system is something separate from us. That's a delusion. It is us. So when we criticize the system, we're criticizing our own externalized internal world view collectively. Now, you may stand separately. You may say, no, that system has nothing like what I want. That's fine, but the collective disagrees, and it's the collective that needs to wake up, but it starts with each of us. That's why I'm talking about this stuff. That's why people say, why aren't you talking about healthcare? Every time I talk about awakening, I'm talking about healthcare. Every single fucking time. Every time. Because they're so crucially interdependent, and this is why it hasn't happened yet, that we need to have this conversation. That means, and I have to do a separate video about what is awakening for you in healthcare. What does that even mean? It sounds like bullshit. It sounds like something Deepak Chopra would say, No. It's very simple. It's simply waking up from the dream that you are something that you're not, that you're a separate self struggling against a world that's out there. Awakening is simply realizing this here that has always been is you. It's not apart from you. And that means that everything that happens is seen as actually perfectly in its place, which means the next action that happens is a kind of flow state. The next patient you see, you just spontaneously act from a place of authenticity and compassion. And I'm giving you the cliff notes here, but we'll do a specific video on how this really kind of lays out. And it's not easy to talk about, which is why everyone isn't just in this state of kind of seeing this. But I'll say this, everything that's going on right now in your head and in this space and what you're seeing is this. It is this radiant presence. We just apparently don't see it, but it's always been this. So it's like leaving home, going, where could you go? To come back home. That's what awakening is. So it's not an event. It doesn't happen to a person. It becomes very paradoxical. So it's not something you can just teach in medical school, right? You have to embody it. You have to be around people who embody it. And you have to take the scientific method that you've learned and drill it down into your experience now. Take that scientific inquiry and bring it here. Who am I actually when I don't believe a story that I'm telling about myself? I don't believe a thought. I'm just witnessing what's happening right now in this moment. Who am I? What's aware of this moment? Oh, it's a body in here. No, that's a thought. That's a concept. Drop the concept because you can see what a concept is. It's a appearance. You can, oh yeah, I see a visual of a brain and a head and neurons and neurotransmitters and serotonin and glutamate receptors and yeah, okay. Concept. Yeah. So what's here now? What's here right now that you can actually experience that isn't a thought? What are you right now? Do that enough, that inquiry, that scientific exploration, and see what happens. I can't tell you what happens because it's beyond language. Language is dualistic. It's designed around separation, I and that and those and this. This is beyond that. So you can't talk about it, but you can point and you can embody it in your life in a way that it actually transmits. So healthcare transformation is us transformation because the two are not separate. They're not two, non-dual.